Hello. What's going on? Hope you guys are amazing. It's been a while since we've gone live, but it's your boy, Delon Canterbury. I am the Deprescribing pharmacist and founder of GeriatRx. So what is up? I hope y'all are doing amazing and having an amazing rest of your summer as we start to dive into the fall. So with new quarters, with new beginnings. Hey, how you doing, Juhi? Hey, how you doing? With new beginnings, you got to talk about what all has been going on over the summer with GeriatRx and the Deprescribing Accelerator. So I appreciate you all joining in, showing some love today. Welcome back to another episode of the Red Pill versus the Blue Pill. Sometimes called the Deprescribing Morpheus. My mission is to share and evangelize the power of advocating for less medications within our older adults. So in doing so, I created this program, the Red Pill versus the Blue Pill, to make the metaphor pretty distinct on how all of us can become our own Deprescribing Neo, all right? The one, okay? The people to advocate for our caregivers and older adults who are susceptible to over medicating and polypharmacy and prescribing cascades and all these drugs that we once thought were brilliant and amazing may be causing more harm than good in our older adults. So I'm on a crusade to deprescribe 1 million drugs across the world, all right? And so I invite you to be a part of that movement with me. No matter who you are. I don't think it requires the clinical skills. It's really how do you ask the right key questions in your loved one's care or in any of your children or older ones who are on a bunch of meds and don't really know where to start in terms of if it's truly appropriate for me. So the red pill versus blue pill, again, is using Deprescribing as the red pill, the wake-up call that our health system needs in this lost matrix, and figuring out a way for us to use less is more and get back to the way the body's meant to heal, right? Lifestyle, diet, nutrition, mind, body, spirit. So why am I here? If you didn't know me, I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Dr. Delon Canterbury. I'm a board-certified geriatric pharmacist and founder of GeriatRx, along with the Deprescribing Accelerator. I started this company about 5 years ago. It's going into our 5th year of business, so can't believe we survived COVID, but we did, and we're here, and we're thriving. We're doing well. So I created this out of really the frustration I felt within the community retail setting. And after doing that for going on 4 years as a pharmacy manager with Walgreens, I saw a lot of my older adults were the ones who fell victim to the issues we would see in our health system, whether it may be access or transportation or just even affording the cost. And I found that a lot of them were the ones who were on a lot of meds. The most meds, in fact, were my older adults, which I know a lot of us people may see in the community setting. But I think we see it also in the nursing facilities and long-term care communities. We see the lists of 15, 20 meds, and you're paying double most people's mortgages just to eat and get crappy care. So we have to change this paradigm of aging, and we have to redefine what it means to age healthily. And who better than having someone who understands the meds, the drugs, right, that are used to manage these people chronically. So that was a big aha moment for me, and why I created GeriatRx was I felt, why not give the intellect, the advocacy, the skill set, the amazing gifts that pharmacists may have, and do it in a remote fashion where people can get access now, instead of having to wait in line and drive through, phones ringing off the hook, essentially in a setting that isn't always conducive to health and aging, ironically. So I'm not going to say all pharmacies, of course. big shout outs to our mom and pops, our independent pharmacies. They're the ones I feel that are running they're filling a lot of the gaps that our traditional big box pharmacies are not doing. So I have to show my love and respect to those on the front lines, changing and redefining what community pharmacists do. But guess what? We're all community pharmacists. We have to stop putting these labels of what setting or environment we're in, when ultimately we're still having to deal with a person in the community. So we can't just assume everyone in a nursing home or long-term care facility is getting all their needs met. In fact, it can be opposite at times. You think there's more supervision and oversight. And yes, there's more regulatory compliance stuff to follow. But what happens to the other 90% of community dwelling older adults who are living at home? They may have a wife or spouse as a caregiver, but they don't have that immediate access unless they're proactively calling up an advocate, a care manager, a caregiver coach, a pharmacist, you got to have like a team of people to navigate this system. And that's what we see. We see it in families. We see it in people who may be, transitioning from one facility to another. And frankly, we're not always thinking as the pharmacist as someone to navigate some of those health symptoms or concerns in their care. So I'm here to show you that, yes, we are ready and willing and available to help people in those dire straits. But I started GeriatRx to provide that concierge soft side of health healing and taking the time to be more time intensive. And when we're talking to patients and meeting with caregivers and families and discussing all of their needs holistically, right? Not just a clinical med review. So I felt, why not provide that service to all and show them that we can do this together, but not just as a one and done, one-time conversation. So that was my fantastic idea in 2020. Not an easy model to enact in the least, but it works. And I found a sweet spot to where you can make it work too, despite your clinical background, if that's what you so choose. So in doing this, the bottom line is plain and simple. As with most clinicians and most physicians, nurses, anyone who's a part of the health system knows this to be true. We are on too many damn medications. Point blank, period. We are on too many damn medications in this Western medicine, in this Western world. And across the board, we see inappropriate use of different meds and different health conditions, ages, kidney function, clearance, whatever. You're going to see that just clinically anyway. But frankly, the response every time you go to a provider is, here's something new to treat that. And I can't blame it. It's a system-driven incentive, and it is also driven by what we believe to be true by, well, the commercials you see every day telling you to take this new, sexy, amazing, awesome drug that will fix all your wonderful problems on a beach, have you skipping with your loved one and playing with your dog with Frisbee. Like, that's the world we're in. So you can't really be mad at society that assumes that's the only way when they haven't been shown any other way really to heal. So we don't put a lot of our money into preventative medicine. It'd be great to do that. It's not easy, nor does it always lead to reimbursable, that are substantial reimbursement incentives and billable services. We get more money if we're billing for a surgery. We get more money if we're billing for a visit or an actual intervention versus, hey, work out. How do I work out? I don't know. I don't have access to a gym. Have we discussed those social barriers that are, all pervasive in communities of color or whatever, or even rural communities, to address some of these needles in the haystack that lead to the inequities we see in healing and health and chronic care management. And COVID shone a big light on that, especially with the advent of more telehealth remote services, in that not having these pillars in place is going to lead to gaps, and it's going to lead to more expense to our health system. And more important, it's going to lead to more of our loved ones dying, frankly. It's going to lead to more of our loved ones dying who don't have access to get experts in medicine or experts in alternative or holistic healing or integrative methods in healing. So again, tangent aside, I created this 4 or 5 years ago with the intent of getting my grandmas off all these pills. Okay, that's it. That was the brainchild behind GeriatRx, and why I felt geriatric pharmacists can be the perfect quarterback to driving policy change around this global issue. You see, this isn't just confined to just people 65 and up here in the US. This is a global problem where we have ever increasing rates of inappropriate medication use across the world. Okay, they've had some pretty robust prevalence studies on the amount of people over 65 and up who are taking at least one inappropriate prescription. And I believe here in the US, we're looking at about, I want to say like 24% or so. But when we start talking about Europe, Africa, Asia, we're talking mid 30 percentages. South America, we're talking 30 percentages and up. So nearly a third of older adults across the world, all right, nearly a third are taking a med that no longer is beneficial. In fact, it may be considered to be harmful. So to me, that's a problem. To me, that's a problem. I don't care what clinical background or what, that's a problem if in this country, 750 people, older adults, are sent to the ER every day because of a medication-related side effect or adverse event. So 750 times 365, you do the math. It's a lot of damn people being sent to the ER for a preventable issue. And I can guarantee you, had we had a little bit more surveillance, a little more educational touch points, a little bit more of that transition of care, we could have probably addressed some of those issues. We could have probably addressed some of those issues before it became an ER visit, okay? So that is the problem I see, is why are we waiting for people to get an order of their script at the pharmacy and hoping to God the pharmacy catches all the issues that the patient may not have realized in their medication profile? Bruh, the pharmacy does not have all the answers. Like, it doesn't have your full EHR. It doesn't have the full trajectory of what you took in the hospital system or at the nursing facility. We don't have all that. We would like to. We don't have a universal healthcare system. So when it comes to data sharing, we're going to keep seeing more and more gaps as we have 10,000 people turning 65 every day in this country. And this population is getting what? More diverse, more people of color, more LGBTQ. So are we all trained to culturally manage people of different demographics and backgrounds and ethnicities? Hell no. We barely have providers that match those demographics to treat this population, right? So you're not having that trusted messenger, and you don't have that relatability to foster, transparent communication. You've already got a fragmented system, which, that's always going to be the case. So why aren't we using more of the world of consultant pharmacists, geriatric pharmacists, people who have that certification in senior care to lead this charge hand in hand with our PAs and our NPs and our future doctors? It's not impossible. In fact, it does happen. It just happens in silos, and we don't have that approach standardized across the country, across health systems. And I'm not going to say that's an easy fix, but I will say when we lean on each other's skill sets versus the egos we all think we have for our own expertise, it detracts from true quality patient care, right? It does. I'm not a physical therapist. Am I going to tell you what exercises to do to strengthen your core and improve mobility? No, I don't want to do that. That's not my lane. So I'm going to defer to the expert, okay? My job isn't to diagnose. My job isn't to prescribe medicine. I don't want those things, all right? What I want, like everyone else, is the right drug, right time, right patient. And we have tons of tools to help us choose the right drug at the right time for the right patient. But a lot of those, guidelines that we may follow aren't always inclusive to the older population. In fact, we guesstimate what an older person may respond to based on the data from younger populations, which are primarily white. And that's not going to be accurate, right? That's not going to be an accurate way to treat that population. So I'm challenging us all to think a bit differently when it comes to the life expectancy or the lifetime benefit of any over-the-counter herbal, vitamin, or prescription you or your loved one may be taking. And I encourage you to ask, is this absolutely vital for me to live? Is this important for my quality of life? Or is it just an optional thing? Is the drug still needed now for me to live? And if isn't it, and is everything that you may be taking, is it does it have an actual clinical need in terms of your health conditions and care? Okay, so I challenge people to use that and ask those questions of everything you or a loved one may be taking. But I'm getting on my off topic. But really, the mission is we have to challenge everything when it comes to damn near everything in this health system. You have to really advocate and fight. So, stats aside, we got tons of people that are falling. Pretty much one person falls every 3 seconds in the US. I'm sure a lot of it may be related to meds. Falls are extremely costly. Falls can increase your mortality if you break a hip or major bone by like 20% over a year. It's pretty significant. So if we know that we have a population of people that may be taking meds that increase falls risks or falls risk inducing drugs, FRIDs, they do have a criteria to check for that. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. It's called the Stop Fall Criteria, based out of Europe. Look up Stop Fall, and it can give you some set of questions to ask in terms of whether your meds may be inducing cognitive impairment or things that may worsen falls. Okay, so free tip. But if we can tackle that together by saying, hey, let's stop all the meds that are increasing falls risks and try to come up with a strategy, then I could see us changing a culture of medicine instead of we're just trying to fix this one problem, but we're not seeing the whole person and we're not seeing the whole history. We're just kind of seeing as, well, the system needs me to bill for something today, so I am going to treat this one thing and you come back for the other thing, and we're going to hope this works, okay? Again, we're not blaming prescribers at all. This is a systemic, intrinsic issue to our American health system is we need you to see numbers to fill. Now, yes, we are starting to pivot and transition more to value-based care, where we're having different care models, we're having people take on more of that risk and finding ways to cut costs to, again, treat people with more value-based models and systems or incentives. But it's not, it's not ubiquitous. It's not everyone's doing that yet. So until that day comes, we are still stuck in this fee-for-service model that Medicare and Medicaid are known for, getting reimbursed a certain value point that's arbitrarily designed by zip code and level of service. And that stuff ain't working. It's just not working. So when I talk about deprescribing, I don't want to just harp on doing a fancy med review. That's not deprescribing. Med optimization, deprescribing, however you want to phrase it, term it. People say deprescribing is too caustic of a word, and it's inflammatory. It's accusing there's wrongdoing from the prescriber. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say med optimization to a 70-year-old person who doesn't know what the hell's going on with their meds anyway. All right, excuse me, but I do believe people philosophically are on board and are tired of taking a lot of meds. And with a little bit of retraining and re-educating, we can guide everyone to hopefully a safer way to help people heal. So again, medicines will always have a role. There's no contesting that. We do need medicines. We do need people to be treated quickly, and medicines have helped us live much longer than we did back in the 30s and 40s. All right, despite our pretty crappy sedentary lifestyles that we have here. But even with that, we still have a lot of amazing technology and intellect behind where medical science has gone. We're not here to lambast or talk that out. We're here to talk about simple stuff. We're here to talk about your grandmother or auntie who has no real understanding of what all they're taking, which is a common problem. They know the colors. They know how small that pill is. They don't know what the hell it's doing. And let's be real. When's the last time you think someone has actually sat down and said, okay, you're on lisinopril. Do you know what this is for? Do you know why you're taking it? When's the last time you've had someone go through all the supplements? When's the last time you had someone go through all the scripts? When's the last time you had someone go through every little thing that you're taking and have been taking it for a long time, but there hasn't been an assessment on, is this what I need now? It don't happen. It doesn't happen often enough. You have to be hopeful you have a prescriber or care team that is proactively looking at the meds as a part of their work culture, and they're looking to reduce that burden as just a part of their workups and system. And there are providers that do that amazingly well, and I love them. I love them for that. Is that happening everywhere? Hell no. Of course, if it would, I wouldn't have a job. Seriously, I would not have a job if we were proactively looking through each and every single med to see if it's beneficial and vital and important for me to live today. Okay, so that's the issue I see, and that's what the data tells us, and that's what I know for sure our consultant pharmacists see, who are doing these chart reviews and audits in these long-term care facilities and or assisted living facilities or skilled nursings, whatever. They're going in there and they're seeing the same cocktail of the same stuff. We've got 4 or 5 different as-needed meds to help you poop. We've got 4 or 5 different meds to help you not poop. We've got 3 meds that are causing you to poop. We've got 2 or 3 meds that are dehydrating you so you don't want to poop. It's like there's this never-ending cycle of prescribing cascades that lead to one drug treating another drug, treating to another drug, treating another drug. And I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. I'm sick of us just passing the buck on, well, who's going to do this? Who's going to pay me to do this? You know, which is what I'm asking our metaphorical health system. Who's going to, you know, how are we going to sustainably implement it after we do it? Who's going to take charge of that? Well, hey, I don't know. We all know pharmacists do this. We do this already. We do this in the community. When there's a problem at our desk, we're trying to fix it actively. But why aren't we reimbursed for that? Why aren't we seen as someone who can do that within a health system? And yeah, some health systems got it right. They have med specialists, pharmacists, and techs doing those med reconciliations and doing those reviews before their discharge. Awesome. Great. That's not happening for everybody. Okay. So I'm bringing this up to raise the pain point that we've been able to solve, but also encourage those listening, whether you are a clinician or a caregiver, on having a very frank conversation. If you see a loved one taking 8, 10, 15, 20 meds, it's time to start asking some questions, because I can guarantee you something is not appropriate now. And I can guarantee you it's probably not saving your life in the next 3 to 5 years. In fact, most of these meds you could probably get off safely with the right supervision and the right clinical experts making sure you're doing it the way you should. But here comes the pharmacist, right? You see us as people who just want you on a bunch of meds, but I'm here to challenge that notion. And we don't. Most of us don't want people on a bunch of meds. We like meds. We like the nerdy drug science stuff, but we do hate the overuse of medications. We do that. We hate it by nature because we think less is more. So I think we all should think less is more when it comes to prescriptions. Yes, I get it. I've heard everything. You've got 10 different health conditions. You've got, 2 triple bypasses and strokes, and you name all the ailments you can. Yeah, that's going to happen if we are not taking care of our body. But you cannot accept 30, 40, 50 years of physical buildup in your body that led to that issue to just suddenly be fixed by, here's a pill. That's not curative. That's not hitting the root issue. What happened to the 30 or 40 years prior? It may control some numbers, but is it at core making you healthier? I don't know. Like, that may be debatable, but I'm saying this to say I am simply challenging this knee-jerk reaction to always prescribe something or write something, and we're not empowering people to try other alternatives first. In fact, I feel we kind of write it off and that people won't do the lifestyle preventative stuff first. So we just say, all right, I'm just going to give you this and we're going to see what happens. I am proud to say that one of my closest mentors, or second mom, I truly call her, was able to not only lose a substantial amount of weight, but she was able to reverse some of her fairly noxious congestive heart failure symptoms over this past year and a half. Okay. She was on the brink of, getting, she was not looking good. Okay. She was going down the NYHA class 1 to 4 trajectory of severity in heart failure. All right. And she magnificently, with changing the diet, changing the habit, having the right care team, having me on board, helping with managing some of the meds, encouraging them, showing the need for this behavioral intervention, this lifestyle intervention, having the nutritionist and dietitian, having them all on board led to this change. It wasn't just a solo mission. It's going to require substantial lifts from different interdisciplinary teams to hit that kind of result. And she did. And I could say that those symptoms of breathlessness, water weight, dry weight, those issues that she was complaining of are gone. And a lot of it was from magnificent amounts of weight loss, along with healthy meal planning and diet and having the right team. So what I'm trying to get at is we got a lot of older adults across the world who don't have access to someone to look at all their meds and see what's causing their most problems now. You hope you get that when you go get your refill, but unfortunately, inherently by design, unless you're one of the few cost plus pharmacies out there, by design, for the most part, okay, if I could safely speak, pharmacies are dependent on you filling a prescription to get revenue. That is the pharmacy model. Outdated as it is, that's what it works. And so there's revenue made when we provide immunizations. There's revenue made with filling. There's revenue made when you buy, stuff over the counter, supplements or CBD. Those are all revenue generating things. So it's you dependent on being in the store and making that purchase. And inherently, that may kind of conflict with deprescribing, which is we want you off everything as safely as possible that you no longer need to live the rest of your life healthy and happy. So I'm saying this to say it's more of a lifestyle, but I don't want us to think it's like it's time to just stop all the meds. No, that's not appropriate nor safe. And I do not want a lawsuit anytime soon. What I want is for us to ask whether all of these are appropriate now. And if someone says they're all appropriate, get a second opinion. Talk to your community pharmacist, talk to your independent pharmacist, talk to your provider. Like, they want you on little meds too. Providers don't just want you on a bunch of meds. I promise you that. That's just kind of all they know how to do. So like if you, I'm not going to say that, excuse me. I'm not going to reduce it to that. They do a lot more, but they're trained to give you something or treat, unless you have those more integrative, preventative, sure. But that's their job. Like, I was trained to dispense in a way, even though we don't just dispense, we clearly know a ton of stuff about health conditions. But in that role as a pharmacy manager, it was to manage a team to dispense meds and of course hit other metrics. I'm not trying to get to that. What I'm trying to get at is there's got to be another way to heal. And there is another way to heal. And we have an aging population here that does not have enough geriatric specialists to manage these needs. We don't have enough geriatricians. We don't. We don't even have enough caregivers. Okay? We don't have enough care managers. We don't have trained nurse practitioners. We don't have enough aging specialists to meet the demands of this country, or let alone the world. So we have to move quick, as in now, to bridge some of these gaps in the continuity of care. We don't have enough medication experts in geriatric medicine that can provide this service directly to anyone who wants it. The way it's set up now, you essentially have to be a part of some nursing facility to have a pharmacist's eyes on you. Most of the other people in the community, you're basically hoping your provider at the medical office or your pharmacist is catching all those issues. And I'm pretty sure the last time you've been to a big box chain, it was probably not the most warm, fuzzy experience. And it's going to take some time to get that type of continuity of care, unless we universal healthcare, which, yeah, okay. If it happens, great. I mean, we'll see. But guys, we don't have enough people to do it. So who's going to end up advocating for less meds? It's going to be you. It's going to be you. It's going to be the caregiver, the distraught family member, or the patient themselves. They're going to say, I'm tired of taking too much of this. I feel this type of way. I have these issues every time I take it. And until you say those key words to a prescriber, that is when there's suddenly a conversation about, you know what? Maybe we should take off some of these meds. Maybe we should reduce the dose. Maybe we should have a conversation, look a little bit differently, ideally. But why are we waiting for the train wreck to happen when we could start proactively doing that in our 50s and 60s, or even much younger, frankly? Like, why are we waiting until we hit 65 to suddenly qualify for a medication therapy management review. That doesn't make sense. Everyone who's taking chronic medicines should have a chronic review done, no matter what, no matter how many it is or how long you've been on it. You should have an assessment to see if this is still appropriate for you. The majority of my patients that work with me, they have not had anyone look at their meds for over an hour, barely even 15 minutes, but to look over everything and try to assess if it's necessary now, if it's the right dose, like everything a pharmacist can do intrinsically, we're not doing that as a system. So that's why I said, let's just do it without the brick and mortar pharmacy, and let's give people that access. And so that, my friends, is what I am inspiring you all to consider today with your family members, with your loved ones, and why the Deprescribing Accelerator exists is to train other like-minded specialists in aging on how to build a practice out simply by advocating for less meds, simply by asking the tough questions to the care team, by integrating the expertise and knowledge of our consultant pharmacists, our geriatric pharmacists into the community so that there's a larger impact versus hoping someone takes my recommendations to taper the med off this month. It shouldn't. Why waste all the amazing schooling and knowledge and exams and certifications and credentials that consultant pharmacists have when we make an intervention with the sole purpose of reducing harm, of mitigating risk, of reducing falls, of reducing drugs that dehydrate, reducing drugs that worsen cognition, of stopping unnecessary opioid use, employing pharmacogenomics, nutrigenomics, health and wellness. Like, we have all this gold, and why must it go to waste if we just hope someone takes our recommendations to get better? Like, that doesn't work for me. Like, we're hoping that the provider agrees with stopping harmful meds. We're hoping that happens. Like, I don't want to wait for that. That's why when people work with me, it happens. There's no, we hope it happens. The whole point is to say, doc, whoever, this is what I'm experiencing. I don't want to do this anymore. So don't do this anymore. We don't have to, you don't have to take every single thing you receive. And that's the beauty that I feel is missing in our health system, is we aren't leveraging this gold mine of specialists in medicine, our consultant pharmacists, geriatric pharmacists, but not even just them, just people who are well-versed in med safety. And that's why I believe we can train social workers to become Deprescribing advocates. We can train nurses to become Deprescribing advocates. Absolutely. And of course, geriatricians by nature are Deprescribing advocates. But it's not always easy finding a geriatrician. And they're usually booked out 6 to 10 months. It's going to take you a while to find one. So who better than a geriatric pharmacist to bridge some of those gaps and to teach people how to think like a deprescribing specialist, like someone who's all about med safety, and start with a couple nuggets. Like, it doesn't have to be, oh, you must know this interaction to talk about it. You know, it's a lot of it is, how long have you been on this? How do you feel after you take it? Is it working? Do you feel it's working? What's your attitude about the med? Do you ever experience any side effects or issues with it? How long has that been going on? How do you manage that? Okay. When's the last time you had a discussion with your provider about it? Oh, you haven't? Okay. Here's how we can have a discussion with your provider about it. Because they're not going to know. they're not going to know everything until you tell them, hey, I'm actually having an issue. And that's what I find time and time again is way more effective than me doing a review and saying, let's stop X, Y, Z. At the end of the day, if the caregiver wants it and you got that power of attorney, you can do whatever the hell you want. You really can't, at least within reason. I'm not telling you to just go rogue, but don't feel as if you can't voice concerns in your health plan if you're not getting your needs met. And I think we, especially with our older population, we definitely ascribe to the kind of the doctor is God philosophy in our older demographic, because that's that's kind of the time period they came from, this patriarchal model of the health system. But that's changing. It is changing significantly. Now, mind you, yeah, I've had families where the families was concerned about the overprescribing issue, and the patient was not. And so that was an interesting bridge to cross. Was how do we assess their actual buy-in for stopping one or two meds if that was what they wanted? But apart from that, I mean, guys, deprescribing ain't going away. Getting people off meds safely is never going to go away. And that's why I am letting you all know that this is the perfect opportunity to consider our Deprescribing Accelerator. It's intended for social workers, pharmacists, nurses, and doctors, and PAs, of course, any medical prescriber. But the entire focus is, how do we train our future providers to think a little bit more differently about the lasting impact of some of those meds? And how do we safely assess the meds first before throwing another med into the mix? Newsflash: prescribers are not trained on deprescribing. I'll say it again. It may be a sexy word now, but most are not trained on when to stop something. They're not. And I'm not just saying that. I ask providers this. They don't learn this. I just met with the Duke medical director, Dr. Tia Bayless. They don't learn deprescribing. They know how to treat. They know how to triage. They know how to diagnose. That's their gift. That's their magic sauce. I don't know that. I don't want to know that. They're the experts at that. But I'm the experts of these meds. And we can do this together. What do you know? We can do this together. And so that kind of transitions nicely into what GeriatRx has planned going into this next fall. But we're looking to train some medical residents at Duke on deprescribing, which is a big win. I'm excited for that. And we're also going to pilot some of our Deprescribing Accelerator for their primary care providers in the Duke Health System. So it's all in talks now, but I'm psyched. This would be monumentous to get more of our future doctors trained on this mindset, all from little old geriatric pharmacist Alon, okay? So what I'm getting at is, that's a way that we can touch thousands of future patients from just reframing the mindset around meds, okay? That's cool. That's cool as hell. That's something I never thought would happen. That's kind of the goal of this, is changing that philosophy. So yeah, that's a project we were talking through with Dr. Tia Bayless. And yeah, the idea is for us to host their grand rounds residency training. So we're going to do a segment for the current medical residents at Duke on deprescribing, and then eventually we'll do another segment talking to their primary care physicians on deprescribing. So I am super, super psyched for that. What else is going on in the fall? Yes, it's the fall. So caregiver season is upon us. So we've got a couple of health fairs and conferences. The annual Duke Caregiver community event will be September 4th, and we'll be there in full effect, tabling and helping people know that they can use us as a community resource. But more importantly, hey guys, look, we have our next cohort starting of the Deprescribing Accelerator. Before I even forget, we are starting next week, next Thursday, on the 29th. So we are in our final stretch of applicants. So if you were thinking about how you want to create your own concierge cash-based practice, focusing on serving seniors while growing a little bit of revenue for you, this is the time to act now. So yeah, we are going through some more applicants and interviewees for this. You do have to apply, so check out the comment or link in my bio on my homepage. We do have currently a couple applicants to sift through. So we'd love to have you on board. We have 4 seats left. So yes, we do have some room for you if you want to get on this bandwagon. And the goal is we're going to get you and your business, your future practice up and running, and how to develop a cash-based model using Deprescribing as a service to either go to your consumers directly or as a service that you can position for other aging service providers and other businesses who are looking to use your clinical expertise to advocate. So we start next week. It's a year-long program. You may be wondering what all is included. So you're going to get 15 hours of live CE. That's live CE. So yes, live. You're going to get access to our monthly Deprescribing mastermind. So every alumni who's finished the program is able to come back, is able to still keep up, get to know more about our other cohorts with our monthly Deprescribing masterminds. You'll also have access to our private LinkedIn community. So if you wanted to see updates, news, posts, and articles around the topic, we house them there. Additionally, our guarantee is to show you how to generate a cash-based model using Deprescribing. So whether you're passionate about educating, coaching, public speaking, one-on-one services, starting your own brick and mortar, patient advocacy, whatever level of aging care you want to provide, and you're on the fence, you may be a pharmacist, you may be a clinician, you may have your own practice, you're looking to just add a novel revenue service, the Deprescribing Accelerator is for you. It's intended for you. It's intended for people who are passionate for aging, and it's intended for people who are looking to redefine the way we deliver care. All right. So yeah, we cover a number of topics. We talk about opioid deprescribing for dementia, understanding herbals and OTCs. We go into the top commonly seen side effects in older adults. We also talk about the world of pharmacogenomics and the need for us to use that to advocate for deprescribing. And of course, we'll have more patient cases throughout the lectures, along with as a part of your homework. We give you some self-paced modules that you can follow at your own pace, that you'll have access to for an entire year. So everything is, recorded. We teach it live. So even if you can't make 1 or 2 meetings, we do have them usually every Thursday. So we usually house them on Thursdays, afternoons or evenings. And I truly am amazed with the alumni that continue to come through our program. We only offer it twice a year. So every spring and fall, we do a launch. So this is our fall cohort. This past group, we had 5 people graduate. We've had geriatrician, Dr. Tony Miles. We had Dr. Rachel, oh man, I can't believe I'm blanking on her last name. Oh goodness. Faines. Oh my goodness. My bad. Rachel, don't beat me up. I know your name. I just forgot. I drew a blank. I am so sorry. Let's see. Oh, I have to. Yeah, Fireball. Jeez Louise. I was mixing 2 different names. My bad. But yeah, Rachel, Fireball, Dr. Reshma Patel, We had Dr. Steve Moore, and we also have the lovely Marianne Kiner. So needless to say, we've had amazing people who are using Deprescribing now in their communities. One serving on an aging board and looking to integrate more of her work as an academic geriatric pharmacist and bridging that to the community. Another, Marianne Kiner, amazing woman. She's a geri psych nurse who already has a private practice and is looking to find ways to advocate for less meds with her patients and her seniors, and is using Deprescribing as a means to do so. Dr. Tony Miles, amazing geriatrician. She is the biggest caregiver advocate I've seen. And so a lot of her work is around research for caregiver support and resources in the community. And so she and I are collaborating as she is representing the Rosalind Carter Institute, a caregiver manual on Deprescribing, on med management, which is super amazing. Reshma Patel, amazing graduate as well, has launched her own private practice. And now she is in the community in Texas, building relationships with other chiropractors, other doctors, other long-term care facilities, and is looking to start her own journey in escaping and making her own side hustle become a reality. Okay. So, and then who else we miss? So I mean, we got everyone doing amazingly well. And I'm happy to share that even our past alumni are doing amazing. We keep it small deliberately. This is a small group. We usually shoot for 3 to 5 people a cohort. We do it again for 3 months live, but you have access to everything for an entire year. And you're also going to have ongoing support from me. So the more work that may come my way, the more work you may get. So there's always an opportunity for us to grow together. And that's, again, part of our beautiful Deprescribing community. So who am I looking for? Who actually does well in our program? So I will say this, the clinicians who have joined and graduated, who get the best value or best bang for the buck, they're the people who are fed up with our health system. So 1, you have to have a bit of passion and they want to do something different. 2, they are ready to take action. All right. And I find a lot of us, especially clinicians who are kind of used to just following what we're supposed to do, there's a little bit of hesitancy, a little bit of self-doubt, a little bit of, am I capable? Do I have the credentials? We get in our own heads quite a bit. I know I do too. I definitely am guilty as charged. But the people who have the most success are the people who do it scared. They do it afraid. They take action. They follow what they're supposed to do, and they stick to 1 or 2 things, and they just do it consistently. So I will say, if you are worried about failure, if you're worried about, reception in your community, like, stop. Those are just limiting beliefs that are stymieing your gift that God gave you to help people. And by helping people, that can lead to the lifestyle you may want. That may lead to revenue. That may lead to better quality. That may lead to reinvigorating your passion for your career. Whatever that looks like for you, don't listen to that little nagging voice of what ifs and can I. Like, screw that guy. Like, you already have it. Don't wait for someone to tell you to do it. So just do it. So taking action, and even if you're scared, is the most powerful gift. Taking action today. And I invite you to take action for yourself today in participating or joining in this next cohort. So yes, we are looking to start next week. Go to my link in my bio and check out the Deprescribing Accelerator. Apply, let me know. And there's a questionnaire that gives me a feel for whether this may be a good fit for you. I want you to complete that. And then we'll meet one-on-one and we'll walk you through all the logistics of our program. Our promise to you is you will learn how to monetize Deprescribing, and you will learn how to actually clinically deprescribe safely with some of these meds. All right. So we're going to give you the confidence and the tools to do that, whether it may be electronic or whether it may be resources that you can just have in your tool belt as a clinician. So no matter what, you're going to have something that's going to impact and augment your clinical expertise in caring for an older demographic. That is what will happen. All right, guarantee it. All right, so that's kind of the basis of the program. Now, coming into what's been up with me, I don't even know if it matters right now, guys. What matters is I'm psyched. I'm happy to see you all. I haven't been live in a minute, so it's good to stretch the old muscles a little bit. But I am excited to check out this next international conference on Deprescribing. So for the first time ever, GeriatRx will be heading to France. We're going to Nantes, September 25th to the 28th. So we will be there for the second annual international conference on Deprescribing. So if you're interested in this space, and meeting with fellow researchers, fellow clinicians, fellow advocates. It's not a conference you want to miss. So we will be in Francais for a few weeks, checking that out. And then we will take some time to explore a little bit of Europe while we're there. So I'm excited to share more about that in the coming weeks. In the interim, though, I will shout out to our Senior Professional Advisory Council. So the minds of Dave Kanier, myself, we've got a couple of other people I'm drawing a blank on, Kira Duffy, Stephanie Gill. We are a part of this consortium of aging service providers here in the Triangle, and we're looking to bring the resources that our aging communities need on what's available to best help them age healthily and happily. So we have a series of speaker events that we'll be doing. Some are at a couple of churches, some will be just some town halls, but we're coming together and we're bringing these resources, a Deprescribing specialist, your physical therapy person. You got to have everybody to age healthily. You got to have your financial planner, advanced care planner, your elder care attorney. You need a team to get old in this country. All right. And a lot of us don't know that until you're in it, you're going to need it. So that's what we do as a consortium, is we're bringing everyone's intellects together and driving it straight to the communities that need it. In the church, living in the retirement communities, nursing homes, we're trying to do it all together. So I'm excited to see where that will take us into this fall season. So yeah, I can't wait. Additionally, oh, I didn't even share this publicly, I guess. Anyway, so your boy, Dr. Delon, I have officially become faculty with UNC Pharmacy School. Yes. So yeah, drum roll, shout out. Yes. So GeriatRx, we will be precepting students at some point in the fall or next semester. But yes, we will be getting pharmacy students passionate about aging and passionate about Deprescribing. I can't wait. A way for us to give back, a way for us to mentor more UNC pharmacy students, my alma mater, who have a passion for aging and entrepreneurship. As you can imagine, we don't always see entrepreneurship spoken or highlighted enough outside of owning a pharmacy. So I think it'd be really a neat experience for our students to glean from and hopefully show that they can find other, valuable streams of income within our profession outside of the traditional retail hospital models. So I can't wait. I'm elated to see that happen. So yes, we are officially faculty. I guess it is coming full circle, huh? After barely graduating from my program to trying to get back, I think it's funny how God works. So that's one piece. Another one, man, we've got a couple of conferences we'll be attending. Yeah, ASCP for my Geri pharmacists out there, consultant pharmacists. We will be back this year presenting on other billable services pharmacists can provide. along with other non-billable services, which I can bring to the table with our cash bottle. But we will be presenting at ASCP in Denver later this year in November. So if you're going to be around, check it out. I'll be there at ASCP. So I'd love to see you. And if you don't know, that's the American Society on Consultant Pharmacists. And if you are interested in geriatric pharmacy, then absolutely that's the organization you want to be a part of. So check it out. Anything else going on? A couple of conferences for ALCA. So I've mentioned a couple times how much I love my geriatric care managers or aging life care professionals. They are the ones who do a lot of this navigating for families of our health system and gleaning resources and visiting doctor's appointments with you to planning care. They do tons of advanced care coordination, and they are amazing. If you don't know who they are, they're like a super caregiver that know all the ins and outs of our health system. And so they have been one of our greatest friends and partners in business. And so the Aging Life Care Association for the Southeast Conference has their annual conference coming up. It's in Greenville. It's going to be September 5th through the 7th or 8th, I believe, in Greenville, South Carolina, Aloft Hotel. But yes, we'll be there in attendance. So check it out if you're interested in learning more about ALCA. But they also have their national conference coming up in Boston next year, which we are hoping to speak at. And so, yeah, it's always fun with conference season. There's always traveling abounds. Can't think of any other immediate updates. I had an amazing meeting yesterday with the Bermuda Health Council. So that's something that I've always envisioned my company doing, is becoming a global driving force behind deprescribing and consulting other ministries of health around appropriate med management for our older adults. And you'll find that, some of these countries may have these national formulary lists or emergency formularies that they subscribe to, but they're not always focused on the extrapolability of that to an older person. So some drugs, as we know, are not always best if you're older based on your kidney or liver function. So we're hoping to help the Bermuda Health Council reduce readmissions or preventable medication harm across their health system. So yes, sounds like a lot. We're still talking through it. However, we're hoping to help consult and drive an aging-friendly drug formulary list for the country of Bermuda, for the island of Bermuda. And we're also hoping to reduce some of the issues that we're seeing. We're seeing huge spikes in dementia and lack of dementia-friendly care. We're seeing huge spikes in inappropriate antipsychotic use. So we're hoping that we can help advise how they can make Bermuda more of a dementia-friendly space. And this is from what? This is literally from meeting someone at the American Society on Aging conference last year and saying I'm a pharmacist. So I didn't fall into this. It's just something that came from being present. And I want us all, if you're a geriatric care provider, to be present in your gifts, in your passions, and know that this movement ain't gonna just end with me. This is an entire shift in how we perceive meds. So soapbox aside, I hope you guys found today insightful. If you're interested in our program or want to learn more, just send me a DM on LinkedIn, Delon Canterbury or GeriatRx. I'd be happy to share more on how you can get on board with the Deprescribing Accelerator. Can't wait. It's already our 7th cohort. We've been doing this for going on 2-3 years now. Started fall of 2021. Fall of 2021. We got into it 2022. So we're already getting to our 7th cohort. So Can't wait to see my future Deprescribers join the movement. All right. So I'm out. Dr. DeLon Canterbury from the Deprescribing Accelerator, sponsored by GeriatRx. You guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your weeks. And yeah, don't block your blessings, my friends. Don't block your blessings. Take care.